We're going to look at purity and pollution and the tension between these two states of human cultural existence. In many places, being human is a distinctive and grander vision from the surrounding environment of animals and plants. To be human is to have culture, according to Paul Hebert, in which this material is adapted. And this is another way of saying that human order is imposed on society through culture. So what does this order look like? If being human is having culture, then this order will look like wearing clothes in a particular fashion for particular purposes, for cooking food or using utensils, the appropriate utensils to eat it, building complex dwellings, or grooming one's hair and face in particular ways, or decorating one's body with ink or metal piercings. Here's a woman from India showing facial tattoos and multiple piercings. We also have a scene of the Knights of Columbus, a fraternal order within the Roman Catholic Church, welcoming Pope Benedict to a visit to the United States. And then we also have a depiction of a Native American wigwam and from the mid-19th century, showing the various forms of these cultural ideals. Now, there is a high ideal for human order, but only some people within the society are considered the best forms of this culture. In fact, what we have depicted in these scenes are considered the best within their context. And many times these forms are expressed through those who are considered royal or respectable or rich. In other words, they are cleaner than the commoners. However, when we look at the relationship between purity and pollution, we see that the process of living creates the conditions for disorder. When people sleep, the beds must be made. When they eat, the dishes must be washed. And when they work, their clothes must be laundered. And after they celebrate a wedding, everyone must return home to the everyday tasks of life. This is according to Paul Hebert. And this is true that most people live somewhere in between. We see in the three columns the tension between purity and pollution. On the left side, purity is highly structured with high formal order, cleanliness, and control. However, this high order is protective, but it's still stifling and oppressive. It's a reminder at the end of the day of cultural ideals and societal order at work. In the right column, we see anti-structure at work, very low order, even disorder, dirt rather than cleanliness, chaos rather than control. And instead of being protective, freedom is allowed. However, no order. And in this situation, it results in chaos and pollution. But at the same time, it's a relief, even temporary relief, from the tyranny of. However, most of life is lived in this in-between area, somewhere between purity and pollution. Here we find the semi-ordered structure, a lived-in informality, where things are normalized, not quite pure, not quite polluted. Here we find the blurred boundaries between order and disorder. A place in which dirt is removed and order is preserved. And within this need for structure, we find a search for meaning and purpose. And in order to maintain the balance between the extremes of purity and pollution, these extremes of structure and anti-structure are set apart and ritualized. They're acknowledged through rituals, which help remove the impurities, as well as restore meaning, structure, and order to life. We can find an example of this within two ways of going about a meal. We have the example of a high Victorian state dinner, which is located in a banquet hall where the dress is very formal, tuxedo for the males, elaborate gowns for the females. The food is prepared in gourmet style. Utensils are made out of silver, and each one has a specific use throughout the several courses of the meal. And on the other extreme, we have, let's say, maybe a church potluck, where the location is in an outdoor setting, such as a public park. It may have picnic tables with an outdoor grill. Dress is very informal, maybe t-shirts and shorts for men and women and children. Food is grilled, maybe casseroles made at home where the foods aren't necessarily kept apart but mixed all together within the same pan and then cooked or prepared and brought. Utensils are plastic and paper, and many times we'll have a general use. If there's just a fork, we'll use the fork for all the different types of food that might even be on the same plate, with main course, side dish, and dessert all appearing in the same place. However, most of life is lived in between. We have those moments where we are able to go out to a nice sit-down restaurant and enjoy time together with someone, a waiter or waitress, serving the table and cleaning up afterwards. Other times it's going from one element of our schedule, from school to work or from work to home, and wolfing down a fast food meal through the drive-through, or mainly maybe just grazing in the kitchen throughout a long Saturday. Life doesn't always happen within the neat structures of our analysis. Now, there is a similarity, and many similarities actually, between purity and pollution. They are both set apart from ordinary life. We find a moment to celebrate the purity of life or the pollution of life. We set aside a particular time to cleanse ourselves, clean ourselves, to groom in the mornings. We set apart moments of life to recognize the union of two people in marriage. We see within purity and pollution this shared sense of danger that might occur with the dangerous elements of either one. To be purified might harm us in terms of to prepare a wound in the appropriate way, by going to the doctor, by using the right utensils, by making sure those utensils are completely cleaned. To treat these rituals with a sense of careful attention. We see this primarily in the treatment of dead bodies and in the example of funeral rituals. In the photo, we see a scene of the Kankwe carpentry shop showing the Ga tribe of coastal Ghana in West Africa in their preparation of elaborate caskets. And there are some of the workers surrounded by some of their handiwork, caskets made to look like airplanes or a crab or a chicken. In the background, you might see figures of a fish, or a movie projector or a Coke bottle even have been used. Some religions, however, view the approach to a funeral, especially in handling a dead body, as something that is polluting, and that by touching them is considered a defiling behavior. For example, the Israelites were commanded in the book of Numbers, chapter 5, verses 2 and 3, to send away anyone who was made, quote unquote, ceremonially unclean because of a dead body, end of quote. And this need to separate oneself from a dead body. Or maybe the need in Islam to bury a body quickly, or the practice of cremation in Hinduism. In every case, we see the need to treat dead bodies with respect, but also in ways that might prevent pollution to occur and transmitting maybe disease or dirt or pollution to another person or to the community. And this is one reason why I think we still have, as a human culture, well, human society, a difficulty with mass graves, in which humans are dealt with in inhumane or in inhumane ways. Or also, I think, kind of on the other extreme, the pomp associated with the royal funeral, or the funerals of those that are very wealthy. Take, for example, the state funeral for President John F. Kennedy, or maybe the funeral for Michael Jackson, and the media attention and the memories associated with these events. Paul Hebert summarizes this discussion of purity and pollution in saying, in ritual behavior, humans dramatize the high order they affirm as the ideal for the world, and they take the memories of that order then back into the semi-chaos of everyday life.